Do we need to clap?
Yeah, that'd be really good actually.
Well, we just got
Multiple claps,
Yeah.
thank you.
You guys are cutting my grass right now. That's my thing. Damn it, it's so much better. So how are you finding it? Welcome back, first and foremost. So how are you finding your time down under, second time round?
It is good to be back.
Love
Yeah.
it, yeah.
This weather is like perfect.
I'm glad you think so, because this is our winter, so
Yeah.
the locals are struggling. Like, this is for us, it's just so
I saw
cold.
people walking around with fur coats and scarves, and I was like, you need to relax.
So you guys are in town, of course, just supporting the Amity Affliction. So tell me, this is going to be a crazy show. I'm actually going to be at the Sydney one tonight. What have you guys got in store for me?
Some loudness.
Awkward stage banter.
Awkward stage? I love awkward
Some
stage banter.
loudness.
Yep.
Lots of jumping.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Lots of
Plenty of tuning of instruments.
Get your Nikes on, we'll be
Yes.
jumping.
Awesome.
I'm gonna get dunked on.
So how are you kind of going about these shows? Because these are not going to be small crowds. I imagine this is going to be a huge kind of step up from the last time you were here. So what's the game plan?
I don't know. You just kind of always go up and just feel out the vibe and try and roll with it. Like whatever crowd we're working with, you always just kind of adapt to it.
It'd be interesting to know what kind of themes are you addressing with this album, or what interests you musically now for this album?
I mean, with this album, we kind of have the same approach as we did with White Noise. We just run free with it and do what feels good and don't box ourselves in, and definitely outgrew White Noise for sure. So
Right. So what's it like to look back at White Noise now when you're older? Because you guys must have been like, it was like 19 or something.
18, 19. Yeah.
Right. I always say that anything that people do between the ages of like 13 to 21 is embarrassing. But then like, if I were to make that album, I'd be so stoked on myself. But what's it like to look back on that work you did as essentially as a kid, now that you're grown up and you've got this other album? Is it a bit of a head trip to look back at that record?
Yeah, I look back and go,
Really?
kind of, some stuff. Compared to like the things we've been through the past 3 years, it made like the subjects on White Noise just seem like little kid stuff.
Right,
For
right.
sure.
Do you ever kind of find yourself now, these years later, playing it and then just being like, oh wow, that was an awesome riff. I never even realized how clever that was. Or that was an awesome lyric.
Definitely some. I don't know.
I always, when I'm playing live, like you said, I'm always doing different like little improv riffs, like, because I'm always like, and sometimes I do stuff, I'm like, oh, I wish that was on the record. Like, I want everyone to hear that.
Yeah. But it's cool to save it for a live show.
Yeah, it's
Right.
It's cool when it's
So you've released 2 tracks now, Heaven and What's Wrong. So how well did they set us up for the record? I mean, they're pretty intense songs. They feel dark. How well does that set us up for the rest of the album?
I think pretty well. Heaven coming out the gate was definitely like a very unanimous decision across the board. It just felt right because it had that building broodingness to it, and then hit you with like the huge rock. And then What's Wrong is very like kind of clean and polished and poppy production wise, but it's like drenched in cynicism and anger, and and Heaven is like it's really big, and it's
Does the rest of the songs kind of continue in that same
kind of
mood?
yeah. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of cynicism. There's a little bit of glimpse of hope here and there, but.
Well, how much did you learn? How much of the lessons you learned from the debut process did you bring to this album, or are you kind of detaching and?
Do you mean throughout the cycle, or just recording the first record?
Throughout the cycle, actually, that's a way better question than I
Throughout
asked.
the
We'll just
cycle.
pretend that's fine. Moving forward.
Give me 20% off.
Yeah, put the invoice in the mail.
Thank you. I'll send you my email later.
Thank you.
Like everything.
Right.
I've learned so much, like from writing to recording to performing live, like literally so much.
I can't imagine it's an easy thing to turn the tap off once you guys have started writing a full album. So are you guys have you progressed beyond the new album? Are you already onto album number 3 already?
When we were finishing up like vocals and production stuff, I was in Brooklyn for like a couple months after we had been in upstate New York, like tracking everything. I had started a bunch of new stuff, but then I stopped once we got all our mixes back and stuff. I was like, I'm not gonna, I don't know, I'm like afraid to start anything right now.
Now, so I never really like to spend too much time on the album name, because more often than not, it's kind of like an afterthought that just got kind of thrown in. You're looking at tracks like, shit, we're about to release it, what do we call it, kind of thing. But I can't help but feel as though what we know of Heaven and what we need of Hell, like that is intense. like I feel as though there might be some more going on there, and I kind of do want to ask the question about what is going on with the album title.
Well, it actually was a very last minute thing. We were finishing the video for Heaven. We had just done like transition video, and then we'd done the actual music video. And I was watching a TED Talks at like 2 a.m, and the woman had quoted the Emily Dickinson poem, and she quoted the last line of it, and I was like, that's really, that like, it just kind of struck me. I kind of wrote it down and just kept it, and then it actually popped up again the next day on like something completely unrelated. So I was like, this poem's kind of screaming.
So the universe conspired for this.
Kind of, it seemed like that, but like looking back now, it makes a lot of sense. The cover's got like the mirrored reflection, as above, so below.
Right.
And there's a lot of like really subtle hints of duality and contrast. It's not as apparent as I think people are gonna.
Right, so there's more for us to discover. What's the plan? Once that's out, that's August 4. So what that weekend, are you guys going to be coming back for another headline tour this time?
Perhaps.
Awesome.
Oh.
So cool. So what, in a couple of weeks we'll be doing interview number 2?
Yeah, we'll be right back in
Couple weeks. Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good to me, guys. Awesome. Well, that's all I got for you. Thank you very much for putting up with me, and congratulations on the new album, and good luck with the rest of the Amity shows.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.